summit is learning about these historic places and national monuments, amazing landscapes as we've got here, and helping to protect them and preserve them.
It's a way that I can make sure my voice is heard. It's a way to interact with people such as park rangers or volunteers that you never would meet if you were just coming here to visit a national park, and I think that's really special.
An amazing opportunity where you can get some in-field experience and help make a difference and get to enjoy our beautiful country.
This week, the big challenge is for you all to use your minds and come up with ideas to make the places we're going to see better for the future. And what that means is it's a lot of historic places that are really important to us and our legacy, but they need your help because you're going to be the next generation to inherit these places. So it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that they're relevant to you now and meaningful to you now, and that will be meaningful and preserved in the future.
You need to think about what personally can I do, but how can I influence another thing? We call that our circle of influence, stakeholders, people around us, to also make that difference. And we're going to be asking you about that. So think on that as you continue to proceed through the week, because all of us work together. It is not a singular endeavor, it's a community and a statewide and a national endeavor to make sure these are protected.
This is kind of a pinch point in this whole canyon, so it was really important to the natives because they could use this place as a defensive place. They knew if anything went up or down this canyon, they knew about it. We're going to see some Fremont rock art, we're going to see some Ute rock art, we're going to see some cowboy rock art. Do you guys see the horse way over here? It's got a K star. That's a cowboy cliff. Okay, that was from the early cowboys that were here. The Fremonts did a lot of ceremonies where they wore these big headdresses and things like that.
This next spot is super special to the tribes, needless to say. It's at least 700 years old. That's when we assume that the Fremont were about winding down here. It's built on a really cool overlook spot. A lot of the rocks around here are about 74 million years old. And that ties into obviously when dinosaurs were around. The landscape was completely different back then. There were lakes. This was also part of an ocean. It went back and forth, just like Dinosaur National Monument. And out there you can really see that stratification. It's so cool. The walls would probably have been about as tall as us. And we know that because we have a few more like this that are a little bit better preserved. The mud that would have gone into the cracks of the rocks, you can barely see in the crack right there, that would have been the mortar that would have held these rocks into place. A little bit more of a sturdy like clay. But you look at these walls, obviously this didn't happen overnight.
The history of this valley, agriculture is a great history of us, and it's part of our heritage and culture, but really oil and gas is what drives this community. Western Colorado, from Moffett County all the way down to Mesa County, on this side of the state, all of what drives our schools, our hospitals, our roads, the museum, the library, everything, all the services that everybody just kind of takes for granted, oil and gas does that for us. And without oil and gas right now, we wouldn't have that.
Leave no trace. Doesn't apply to dinosaurs.
Hashtag dinos left their mark in Rangeley, and hashtag that's one classy graduation dress. Thing would be on a signage that would prevent somebody from doing vandalism.
The whole point of this Youth Summit is we're here to listen to you. We want to hear your perspective. And I think that's a good way that our culture has changed, that we recognize that even though young people maybe don't have as much experience as adults, they have a different perspective because you guys are looking at things with fresh eyes. You're growing up in a different social context than us. So we really want to hear from you. So have a great time and welcome.
Dinosaur National Monument is a monument of about 220,000 acres. It has 23 different rock layers that are all sedimentary rock layers and is the most complete geologic history, the most amount of time, most complete geologic history of any unit in the National Park Service. Dinosaur National Monument, because of the way the rocks are and all those different layers, has the most time represented there. So when we're walking, we're actually going to be going back in time. We're going to be going from the youngest layer to the oldest layer as we hike up this trail. This whole area has petroglyphs all over the place. So somebody actually came and carved their initials, NT, right on it, basically right in the space, which is pretty terrible. So that's one thing that we'll ask you guys to think about when you're here is, what can we do better? Is there a way that we can be communicating this message that petroglyphs are really important? And we're now going to walk into the time of the dinosaurs. Okay? So we're actually in the time of the dinosaurs right now. Why do you think we don't find dinosaur fossils in this rock layer? Because it was an ocean, right? T-Rex wasn't a very good swimmer, right, with his tiny arms.
Welcome to the late Jurassic. This is the actual real Jurassic Park that you're seeing here. These bones that we have in the quarry are all from the late Jurassic period, so they're all about 150 million years old. At some point, the rains return and the river starts to come up and there's a flood and it washes all the bones and bodies of these animals into that river channel. That's actually a Stegosaurus plate. So Stegosaurus would have had a bunch of these plates on its backs. This is a really, really unique thing that we have here in our corner of the world that people from all over the world come to see all of these dinosaur bones laid out like this.
Can I take a picture of this?
Sort of just like digital display or something with like recreations of the animals, and it tells you where they are and like the bone parts where they live.
Should I touch you then?
Okay.
One thing I thought was a mini hands-on preservation activity that kind of shows the younger audience how intent it is to preserve these, that it's not just something to look at, it's something that is historically something we need. Or a full model of a dinosaur such as that one back there, but that kids can interact with. They can make it move or they can touch it.
We are Allosaurus!
So the value of this wall is there is none, because it is invaluable, because they have never found dinosaur bones of this species anywhere else in like this part of the country, and the only other place you can find these bones in like a wall like this is in China, so you can't really buy these bones and there's not really a price for them.
Thank you, National Park Service!
Cleaning trash!
Could it be? It could. Found trash.
So there's two rivers that we have here, the Yampa and the Green River, and they converge at a place called Echo Park.
and then from there it turns into the green, and that's what you're seeing flowing by us right here, right now. So basically Dinosaur is a pretty big monument with a pretty cool resource of dinosaurs and rivers and a few other things. If we would allow any and everybody out there, our wilderness experience kind of disappears.
The Colorado River Basin has like this huge amount of water coming into it, and water is super significant to the west.
Rock art sites and all archaeological sites, they're important for studying the past, but they're also really important to people now. They're important to Native Americans now. And here at Dinosaur we have 36 traditionally associated tribes. Like, how do you impart a message of respecting and protecting a site like this? How do you let people know that this is a site that's important to people now?
My idea was just continuing on about having tours and having people know that archaeology is also big in Dinosaur National Monument, and that it's not just about the dinosaurs and the bones, that people were here too. And I think people will be able to connect more with the monument, knowing that there used to be people here with them.
Having a designated separate place to sign in or sign your name so that you feel like you left a piece of you there without actually like destroying the rock art.
Adding like signs to say like this was once someone's place where they lived, and it's like
personalize it.
Yeah.
Explain the why, like what does it look like they were asking you not to do? Why don't you do it? And like trying to like bring in like the stories, like
That's
to like
really good.
share more information.
I created the hashtag "Don't remove a sentence from the story," so don't take things that are part of the history.
So this area, though, what's interesting, it's a homestead for a woman named Josie Morris. Now, she was kind of an interesting woman because she did a lot of things that were out of the norm for her time period. Josie became very skilled, learned very quickly growing up on this cattle ranch how to work cattle, how to farm, how to do a lot of things, and that was an important thing for women back during that time period. And so she lived out here for about 50 years, kind of on her own. She was out here until 1963. So things had come along like electricity, running water, telephones, all these kind of technologies that would connect us and connect people together. But Josie is still living this very simple life. And so this place kind of recognizes that sort of frontier lifestyle of people who would settle in a place like this.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company.
Welcome to the tank. We've been open to the public for about 4 years, and we've recorded world-known musicians, and we are open every Saturday to the public, and anyone's welcome to come that day and just enjoy the sounds in the tank and the reverb. It's quite an amazing experience.
Want of wit, your memories I can't recall.
It's been such a successful venue and such an important reuse of an iconic historic building in this area. It's received an award from Colorado Preservation, statewide award, and it's just really to kind of make you think of how you can take something that can tell the story of a place and turn it into something really, really special.
That experience is what we want on an Insta story, right? Is say, oh, it's powerful, right? It makes somebody say, ooh, I have to be there.
Maybe like have videos so that like people can like hear it, because that's like basically what it is. It's like, well, like it's about the sound a lot.
Hashtag tanktastic.
#SuperSound. But right now we're really at the time where we needed your guys' help as youth ambassadors to really give and speak for this next generation of what you guys want this to be, because you're the next engineers, you're the next conductors, you're the next people who decide how this goes. So we really appreciate your time here and all your guys' input.
It's not just about Rangeley, it's about the area. And this area really depends on each other for tourism and for trade and for working together as a community to tell the stories here.
I think we need a youth campaign to share this with the Colorado Tourism Office to say, we love this, this is a great idea, but there's something really significant missing and it's cultural resources.
There we go. Smile. Got it.
#Love Colorado.
Welcome back to Dinosaur National Monument. It's good to see you all again today. Sounds like you had some fun experiences out there. So that's what we like to hear about, is that it's fun, but also sometimes, like what people talk about, is that they can be life-changing, or that they can really be kind of an inspirational thing.
It's like a title too, like the dinosaur thing.
Like these, we could have like miniature paper versions of these right here, which kids can help
it's
out.
way on. It's up on. Because we're gonna be driving. Where are we going? Yeah, so we're.
They should have like a sign, like a plaque or like a thing that's saying that, telling about what it's doing and stuff.
Okay.
And like the title of it.
I am Sonia's boss, who is Greg's boss. Yeah, I'll go.
I would expand the museum to make it kind of like a travel through time. So you're seeing different things at different time periods in this area just because there is such rich history. And that way you're having people walk through and it's not just an overwhelming amount of information at one time.
Maybe to like redo the map area, maybe add like buttons so it lights up for different ideas. But it's also, I noticed on the map it said fragile. So I was thinking maybe if you could redo the map so people could actually like touch it and say, oh, this is where the Green River is, and stuff like that.
Just have like a few like games so like people can like check what they know and like see what they know. Okay. And I find that really fun just to like check my knowledge as a little test.
Do like a dark sky thing out here, because especially with the visitor center being closed around the time where the dark sky is gonna happen, right, it would be nice to have a space outside where we can especially see the dark sky sky.
Okay. The other ranger, there's one.
It's cool, it's really different because usually I feel like we're ignored, but here like everyone wants to know what we have to say.
Yeah. It's so cool.
When everyone thinks of Dinosaur, they think of the bones that you can find when you're on the Utah side. That's the side that's most visited. No one ever thinks about this other side of Dinosaur. And that's why I think we should share the hashtag the other side of Dinosaur. Because we want to share this beauty with other people.
It has a nice flowing river, flat tops and all that. And it's just surreal to think that this was all carved out by that same river. And the hike is pretty nice.
I just want to soak it in.
No, what if you
have Alex Photoshop me?
Yeah. Okay, stop.
This is why I like Youth Summit, because if I didn't come, then I probably would never be here. So it's pretty great.
In my opinion, one of the most special things about Dinosaur National Monument is the fact that you can find that peace and quiet here. You can really find that silence for a minute. And one of the reasons that you can do that is because this whole area is what we call proposed wilderness. So it's an area that we think is so special that we're going to set it aside to not have humans mess with it.
Wilderness to me just kind of means like not being in the city and just like having the planet just be kind of like how it has always been, not like humanized.
Oh, I like that, how it's always been.
Something will have gone out of us as people if we ever let the remaining wilderness be destroyed.
Never again can we have the chance to see ourselves single, separate, vertical, and individual in the world.
Without any remaining wilderness, we are committed wholly, without chance for even momentary reflection and rest, to a headlong drive into our technological termite life, the brave new world of a completely man-controlled environment.
The reminder and the reassurance that it is still there is good for our spiritual health, even if we never once in 10 years set foot on it.
It is good for us when we are young, because of the incomparable sanity it can bring briefly, as vacation and rest, into our insane lives.
We're here to assist with programming and the future management of our special historic places.
We can reach out to students through schools by asking districts to give lessons about where their water comes from, how it ends up in front of them, and everything in between.
It was a game where you were an archaeologist for a day, and you were able to dig out a site a little bit and explore and see what you could find.
Have a social media page on either like Instagram or Facebook that would show pictures of the vandalism and show how important it is to Native American culture that we don't vandalize the rock art because it's so important to them. And you can use like catchy hashtags like observe and preserve or leave it as you see it so that people can really like catch on to it and really know what's going on.
A website where both rangers and youth can talk on a website if youth have questions and are interested in something.
One hashtag that we had was it's called Dino, which is don't interfere, notice others. And the other one we had was don't remove a sentence from the story, so don't take artifacts from historic places.
Also, I would personally very much like to hear a lot more from the native voice on the petroglyph sites, and so having things like audio tours that are, or podcasts where petroglyphs are on native sites.
First thing we are going to do to bring youth to Dinosaur National Monument is volunteerism. Our target is mainly high school students because of their required amount of community service. The best way to get the youth involved with making decisions like this is to make sure they're informed on both sides and they're educated on both sides. And to just make sure they're involved. You gotta let the youth know that they have a voice. The national parks are not just for adults, believe it or not.
Look around. We're here because we want to be, and we want to help, and we want to preserve these places because we want to be here. We aren't selfish kids. We know what we're doing. We want to be here. I also ask all of you to go to your friends, go to your family, and tell them to listen to our voice, to listen to us. Because, again, we aren't the selfish teens. We're in the game right now. We don't want to be on the sidelines. We're here, we want to play this game.